Yes, so Daretham, he will change form into this dragon. And this, Gremlin Mike, is something that is not common for anyone other than your own people to be able to do. The fact that these outsiders are able to do it means there's definitely something about them that is unusual. You can decide for yourself if you suspect it's something good or bad. But the energy, you can feel the chakra running through the body of Daretham as he's transforming, and it, of course, feels similar to the chakra energy of your people, but this one feels like it's at another level. Almost, dare I say, god-like level, almost.
So closer to my state than the rest.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like they are on the precipice of ascending.
Alright.
The precipice ascending, but not just into dragons.
Yeah.
But you see a potential of, honestly, you see a potential of them ascending into godhood. Whether or not you think that's a good or bad thing, I'll leave that to you.
And this 6'3" kind of, his cloak, so he's hard to see, but like this, his skin looks gray and kind of sickly, transformed into this dragon, and he just a low rumble, not a growl or anything.
At that display, I think Deathstrool will get a slight smirk to his face, his scowl finally diminishing.
So the age of the Golden Dragon has finally come. I thought that it would be people amongst the islands, but I suppose there was no reason that it could not be from outside our world.
The age of what?
The age of the Golden Dragon. It is a prophecy amongst my people that says that there would be one day where new beings would be able to ascend to godlyhood, such as our old gods once did.
The new gods instead of the old gods.
Wait a minute, so you're saying that we're those?
I'm saying that there is a possibility. The prophecy also tells that should these beings fail in their endeavor, then the world will fall in ways that even we cannot foresee.
The abyssal dragon kind of stops and turns to look at Leon. And I don't know if there's a way to do a private conversation in Chakra, but assuming there isn't, he will just say...
I would say there is, but you guys have not learned how to do that.
He will say, new gods. That's interesting. And he just kind of gives like a pointed look towards Leon, but doesn't say anything else.
Are you talking about the old gods like Zazikel and Lucican being from your isles?
Indeed, they are the backbone of our civilization. They founded the ways of the Isles, taught to them by my father.
And
I'm gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
Your father.
The one called Draconis.
Okay.
You must be, I don't know how to say this politely, but ancient, then.
Rather spry for my age, I think.
Oh, we're alike in that way. Daretham just kind of mutters.
With all of the research you all have been doing throughout the campaign, you all probably would know by now that Draconis is theorized to be the god of all dragons.
So what you're saying is we have the potential of being new old gods then.
You have the potential for ascension.
Quick question. This prophecy, does it specify a number? Like, this many people will ascend one day or the world will crumble, or does it just say a group?
It says that a group of beings will come forth. In fact, it does not even state whether they all will ascend or none. It could be one or none or all. Mother was very mysterious in her ways.
And who was your mother?
My mother was Ryluthiel the Ancient.
Can we make a history check to see if we recognize that name?
Sure, go ahead if you can.
I'll
Go ahead and roll,
make
and
a
I'll let
roll.
Mike decide.
Anything from my Darkspawn knowledge?
I would
16.
I would say with the 16. Or sorry, go ahead, Puff.
I was just gonna say, instead of rolling historical lore, could I try and roll? Can I try and roll Coon lore?
Can
I would say yes.
Cute. 13 sometimes.
14.
Well, 14, but
14.
Okay. One of you, I believe, said it had a 16. Okay. With the 16, I would say that you know that at one point there were supposedly 8 ancient gods or old gods, and one was stricken from the greater knowledge of records, and that was Ryluthiel the Ancient.
Yes, and I believe that actually is... Ryluthiel is part of the Dragon Age lore. The official
Yes.
Dragon Age lore, I believe.
So wait a minute, you are a direct descendant of both the old, Draconas, the god of all dragons, and
Those were my parents, yes.
Taryn, Taryn not knowing what he's just gonna, by almost instinct, he just bows. He bows, he kneels.
Wow.
Like his
Did you drop something?
no, apologies, my servant.
Then please get up off my floor.
Destral's probably like wise and old enough to notice this. Daretham has been keeping cool, but probably just because of the chakra kind of keys in his dragon form, so it's emanating off his emotions. He's reigning in anger and a little bit of disgust. But he's keeping a lid on it, but it's still enough that probably Destral can notice it. I don't imagine anyone else though can.
And he's still in dragon form, yes?
Yeah, I'm still in dragon form.
Then you will actually get a message speared directly to you.
What is your issue, child?
You might have actually found somebody older than you, Dareth, for once.
He actually does think that for a second, and you do, seeing into his head, get a glimpse of a mind that is not necessarily old, but has been through a lot. And what you call old gods, I know as archdemons.
Yes.
This he will actually say out loud.
Yes. I know of the taint that has struck your world and what it had done to my people.
And actually, I'll say at this point, he reverts back. I am not exactly fond of such beings.
Yes.
He pulls his hood, and you'll see... you didn't see his face, but he's a darkspawn just now.
And looks like an old one.
Looks like an old darkspawn.
He doesn't flinch seeing this. But he seems regretful.
Anguish is a taint that can destroy all. I'm sorry for what my mother's actions did to you.
Your mother's actions?
She was the cause for the taint.
What do you mean by that? Nathan pipes up. The Chantry has taught us about the cause of the taint was because the Magisters attempted to usurp the Maker's throne in the Golden City.
I don't know who you speak of with this Maker, but I can assure you that the Golden City did have a part to play. When I was a child, my father foresaw a darkening coming to this land, to this world, and saw to it to protect his people, and created our islands. Unfortunately, it weakened him to a state where he told my mother that he had to rest at a place called the Golden City. And he would one day return. Time passed and my mother grew weary of waiting. So she took it upon herself to create an expedition of sorts with the other leaders of our people. They traveled outside our islands and sought help from the mainland. They searched for and found the Golden City. However, when they arrived, my mother did not find my father. She found that he had either passed or ascended to something else, but he was not there. She was our one and only mage. The anguish and grief that overtook her was too great, and it became the taint, corrupting first those that went with her, and then whatever else it could touch.
Putting two and two together, some of you may deduce that if what he says is true, and that her grief did taint the old gods while they were in the Golden City, that lines up with them saying that something happened which caused their chakra energies to burst forth from their bodies and separate into dragonfly.
And also Cryphius saying when we got there it was black.
When they got there it was black. So that does seem to line up very well with where the dragonflies also came from.
I'm gonna make an empathy check. I'm gonna make an empathy check.
Yeah, go ahead. Is this to check to see if he's lying?
Yep.
Or... Yeah, go ahead.
21 with 4 stun points.
You're pretty confident that this man is not lying.
As far as he knows.
You believe that he believes what he's
Yeah.
saying. You believe he believes what he's saying.
I'm gonna step in front of Jairus, but just that he kept and that's it.
So is there a way to release the taint?
There's not a way to destroy it completely that I know of. But there is a way to make a start. It is something that only I have been able to accomplish since the leaders left our land. But alas, I am not able to leave these lands, for if I do, the barrier protecting my people would fall. And thus, we would be subject to the taint like the rest of the world.
Is there a way to protect ourselves from the taint? Especially because we have the potential to become new old gods. I would rather not cause another blight.
And Daretham mutters under his breath, "Or reborn into the same role." But probably mentally, Daztrul will be able to pick up when he says that, and he thinks of Leon when he says that.
Mike, I will say that you're aware of the magisters that followed the dragons. Whether or not you gathered this, but the reality is, whether you're naive to this information or not, is that the other old gods were not going into the Golden City to help your mother. They were going for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
They were going there for their own selfish
Which
agendas.
is the main reason why the taint was able to take hold.
Right. Take hold of them. And they basically used the Magisters. They used the Magisters to get into the Golden City. And the Magisters got corrupted. You're aware that the Magisters are nigh indestructible, at least not permanently, because if you destroy one, they'll just jump to the next tainted creature. However,
Right.
if you have godlike beings, their abilities will be able to destroy
Right.
the Magisters permanently if they so choose. So, as just an FYI, go ahead.
There is a way to destroy your adversaries. However, it is only gained through the trials. And it would mean taking on some form of ascension.
Just to give you guys an idea of what's to come ahead, you all have potentials. If you wish, it's a choice. You have the potential to ascend into different stages. Right now, you're at the Avatar stage. There is also, on the other extreme, turning into a full-fledged god. What does that mean? I'm thinking Zeus, like Greek mythology, where you have a form, a god form, but you also have a mortal form. So you can still walk amongst the people, per se, but you're still a god. And so there's that extreme. And then you have in between, which is what happens if you pass a trial. The in-between is you become a demigod, which is very similar to like Hercules, for example. So not quite full god, not quite full mortal. The one cool thing about being a god, though, is that you will probably get worshippers eventually. They might form a religion around you, and you get to decide what your domain is. You can be the god of puppets for all I care. But yeah,
I do
you
believe
get to choose what your domain is.
Of course,
Thy
Leon's gonna
holy
be
string.
Leon's gonna be the god of lawnmowers, I assume.
The yes, the god of prunes. I want to be the god of prunes.
Yes.
I literally created a god of cookies in a different campaign.
Yes!
I
God of
Yes!
cookies.
Can I bring that up in the vlog? Because I need to share the cult of Steve.
The
I need
god of sugar.
the cult of Steve.
Oh, the god of sugar.
The god of sugar. Although I think god of cookies is a better name to it. And this is something you could bring back to your people, the Ganari people.
Just like, it's raining. Oh, god damn it. It's Pasha. It's raining cookies. We need
It's
actual
raining
rain. Please.
That reminds me of that one Simpsons episode. I forgot what it was, but it's where
It was a
he
Trick
goes
House
into
of
these
Horrors episode.
right, where he kept jumping into parallel universes, and he was trying to go back to the real universe, and then the one universe that he left, oh no, it's raining again. You'll see all these donuts.
Yeah.
These big donuts falling. That's what I'm envisioning. But anyway, sorry.
So we all have a
Something to look forward to in the end game. Go ahead.
so we all have a choice on whether we want to become to ascend.
If I'm hearing our fellow Daztrul correctly, we pass the trials, we go further along that path.
You have the choice to, yes. You must first pass the trial before you have the choice to.
Could you tell us about
so-
this trial? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, so passing a trial doesn't lock us into. If we pass a trial and then decide we don't want to ascend, we won't.
That is completely your choice.
Okay.
Could you tell us a bit about the trials? As well, knowledge is power, and I'd like to be as prepared as possible.
There is a different trial for each chakra. And that is all I shall say, lest you choose to take on the challenge.
So is part of the... I'm assuming part of the challenge is to not know what the challenge is. How many challenges are there?
As I said, there is one for each chakra.
And you only need to pass one.
One for each.
Most likely the one that chakra that you're associated with, that you're most associated with.
Like those five, like
It goes back to like which pseudonym we heard from the augur: might, breath, soul, strength.
Darathan is going to turn back to the others and say,
I don't often say this, but I think we should be completely transparent.
This is a possibility of us ascending. Well, of course they have to be.
and he'd turn back and start explaining his perspective on the dragonflies and what they discovered, like the old gods all having a bit of them parted, his experience with Sting, then like probably go for everyone else to explain. And then at the end, he'd just like look at Leon and just be like,
in the name of transparency and sins of my parents, when the Grey Wardens and the heroes of Ferelden confronted Athumiel, my parents took her soul and transplanted her into, well, me. I guess you could say I am, or I have, the soul of Earthamiel. Okay, Earthamiel.
When you say that, you see him actually close his eyes, and he seems to go into something of a momentary trance. And he'll come back and nod.
Yes, I feel Utheliel within you. She was the master of the Way of the Heart. She founded the dojo on the Isle of Anthanta.
You believe that Leon is already halfway there. So Leon is already effectively a demigod. So he doesn't have to go through the trials. And if you guys do encounter the Magister Siderials, his power could allow them to destroy the Siderials, but he has to be the one who makes the killing blow. So what I'm trying to say is the more of you who become demigods,
The better success rate we
Yeah.
have with killing the Siderials.
it's not just one of us having a killing curse, it's all of us having a killing curse.
it's all of you being able to
Yeah.
correct. So you at least have a chance right now because of Leon, but if the rest of you want to go through the trials, you can reach that demigod
These
status.
trials, are they as a group or just only one of us? Like each of us has our own trial depending on...
You would each have your own trial, and I can say this much for you. Should you wish to just leave these lands and never return, you do have a possible way of achieving your goal as it stands. Faust has the ability to achieve your goal.
And he will stare directly at Leon.
Side note, if we were to decide to take multiple trials, is there a benefit?
We'd
Or-
become more like you, is what I think he's inferring, Leon.
Well, no, if one person takes multiple trials, for example, if we were to all take
If you
all
were,
of the trials.
if you chose to go that route, you would be able to do so, yes, but you would be living here for quite some time, as one person can only take one trial per 1 year.
So if we take a trial, it's a full year.
You would have to wait a year before you can take another. This is not some joyful, just little test. This is supposed to be a rite of passage, you see. This is a ritual that means great importance to my people. It is not to be taken lightly.
Daretham would we just hear
Damn it, I thought I told them not to come this way.
Airplane
But quick,
flies overhead.
grab
Just
me
like,
a pint of sherbet.
Could we by chance take an evening to discuss it with ourselves?
That would mean more time of you being upon my islands. If you agree to a god presence, then I suppose it will be acceptable.
We can agree to that. I hate this ice cream van. I hate it. It's Mark. Why are you bringing ice cream van?
It's the ice cream mafia. They've come for you, Callista.
please let the last thing we ever film ever be Callista wielding like a cane at the ice cream man going, "Get off my lawn!"
Okay. I've got one last thing to ask. Earlier you'd said I'd made my way back home. Would you be able to show me where they would have gotten my egg?
I can show you where they've stolen it from, but alas, I cannot introduce you to any relative. Sadly, you're the one who bore your egg. The loss, it was too much. He died shortly after.
Anything you can do would be appreciated, and I'll deal with that. I'm used to being alone as it is.
Alone? I did not say you were alone. Child, you are home. You have a family here. Whether you choose to take them or not, we are here.
I didn't mean it in that sense.
Whether you meant it in
Apologies.
that way or not, you should know that you are not alone.
At that, he will nod to a few guards who will escort you all to a set of chambers. And I mean, for being practically prisoners, it's pretty nice accommodations. You're more guests than anything else.
I'm gonna say that, you know, if you guys are staying the night, that maybe there's some sort, I wouldn't call it a major thing, but maybe it just so happens that this evening is sort of like a feast holiday, sort of small feast holiday, and there might be some sort of small banquet and maybe some, not hula dancing, but like music, live music, and some of the female and male, like scaled ones, like are doing some sort of dance performance and all.
It's all amazing, and you all can see it from your balcony. No. No, you will all be brought down to dinner, where you will be treated basically as guests. There are guards around you at all times watching you guys because, well, the last visitors they had just up and stole a bunch of shit and kidnapped an egg.
Do you classify yourselves as omnivores, carnivores, vegetarians, or it's just mixed?
It is a mix for everyone. We are our species are omnivores, but as humans, we all choose whatever we prefer.
Okay. We'll say that. Okay, let's say that there might be something like on a spit. Like they have like the equivalent of a roast pig. It's not a pig, but it's maybe some creature native to this island. I don't know if Mike wants to pull something out of his butt at this moment with this
they are
island
giant
creature.
nugs.
Giant nugs. So not the tiny things, but like enough to feed several
Dire
sized
nugs.
creatures.
That is what they are.
Dire nugs, I guess.
They have tusks.
And it seems to be, you can see that they're like turning on the spit and they're ladling this, this sauce of some sort.
Leon would be happy to see that the sacred fruit is actually laid out for eating. And in fact, you find that there are 2 other varieties.
Yes. I will say that one of the other varieties tastes like a mix between dark chocolate and salted caramel. One of them tastes like that. And I'll let Mike decide what the other variety tastes like.
The last variety is more of a sour tart kind of taste. Not exactly lemon, but not exactly pineapple either. Somewhere in the middle with a bit of kiwi in there.
Nice.
How many chocolate points do you get back from eating?
It depends on how many you eat. Are you going to eat enough? If you can eat enough to fill up your chakra points.
Yes.
If you go beyond that, if you eat enough fruit to go beyond that, that's when you start getting your hallucinogenic. Oh man. Ooh.
There is. I will say that there is actually a wine that will get you there a hell of a lot faster.
A lot faster too. Yes. So you can decide what state you want to be in this evening.
At this gathering, I think Russo would be getting quite a lot of stares, both from men and women of the Kothith variety. Blah.
Mick, looks like we got ourselves an episode of The Bachelor now.
It's a good thing Violet is not here. Be like, get away from my man.
Exactly.
I will make dolls of you, and I will poke you.
The village that you guys are in just turned Polynesian resort now. And so you guys are free to roleplay with whomever you would like to roleplay. I encourage you to roleplay and take advantage of Mike's character as much as possible today, but you can still roleplay with whoever you want.
I actually want to take control of that then.
Go ahead.
If Grimlock is cool with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So Tyrion, like during the lunch or dinner, or whatever they were doing, he's probably like
dinner.
Yeah, he's eating, and he seems eating like normal. Like everyone sort of might notice that Tyrion seems to be a little more lighthearted now. And at some point, he sort of looks at that's true, yes. I've always been pondering why we originally got all of these chakra powers and chi and all this. Why us in general? I mean, I can understand people like Russo directly connected to it. Maybe Darethon due to his previous life.
Alas, I have no answer for you. Why you were the ones chosen is, alas, one of the great mysteries of life.
Just seems, I don't know, odd is all.
Odd.
My...
You came to my island with 4 lion bird things and an ogre. And you're going to talk to me about odd.
I must have mistaken my words then. Apologies.
I think so.
He chuckles. It's just... It could be because of my, I guess, background is all.
Your background?
I was a slave before all of this. Served one of the magisteries.
What is a slave?
You serve someone without choice. For whatever reason. For me, it was due to birthright.
How barbaric.
It is.
I am sorry for the plight you have gone through.
You know, I have survived thus far, and my master now is burned, whichever one.
Well, I hope that moving forward, your life is that of a greater purpose.
I don't know. People have different opinions of what I've did. Like murder the man, blood. I did it because of emotion. That's why I'm conflicted on whether if the path of becoming God seems to me. It just troubles me.
Well, you were chosen. There is nothing denying that. You have right to take the trials. All I can say is that if you had been one of my people, you would have been set to trial for such an act. Only by the outcome of that would I be able to say if you were a man of worth after. Alas, I fear we have no time for such things. But since the chakras of the old gods have chosen you all, I am choosing to believe that whatever past you may have had, including past of some's parents, there must be some good within you, enough that it sought you.
He sort of his head goes a little bit down, and he looks at himself, at his heart, when and then he remembers the words of Heart of Dragon, and he then sort of nods. Maybe there is. Thank you.
Approach Dustrul as well.
Dustrul.
I have not gained your name, young one.
Darethim Ghislaine.
Darethim.
I suppose I can be blunt about it. Becoming a demigod, a god. What will that entail with my taint?
I honestly do not know. It is the first of its kind. It may be cleansed. It may prevent you from moving forward. Alas, there is no way for me to be certain. Only attempting the trials is really a way for you to find out. As it stands, you are quite the enigma as far as this fate goes.
I've somehow survived 1,200 years serving the archdemons, so that is a bit of an enigma. There is the base prototypes of a cure being developed using Illyrium. I'm currently the first test subject of it. It nullifies my blood. Doesn't get rid of the taint, but it makes it non-transferable. Do you think I could help speed that as a ascended one? That I could make a real, if not cure, a medicine?
I won't deny that there may be a possibility. But again, we are talking about ifs and maybes. It is very difficult to speak in certainties.
I don't expect a certain answer. Just, I don't want to be a god. In any way.
Then don't. Be the man that you are meant to be. Whether that be an ascended man, a lowly man, or just yourself. I fear you think that you are unworthy of the gifts you have been given. If they had not chosen you, then you wouldn't have been worthy. There is something within you that they see, whether you see it or not. It is only by accepting yourself that you may catch a glimpse of that.
Thought I was over it, but I suppose I am still a bit of a brooding bastard. I don't really want to be a god, but I want to fix this if I can. And this might be the best way to do that.
Then I would say do what feels like it is right. What calls to you. And I'm not talking about what calls to you, the taint within you. I'm speaking of what calls to Dareth.
Even before the Darkspawn, I was born into slavery. Never really thought about that. Never really been able to.
Just so I am aware for any future conversations I might have tonight. Were you all slaves?
Me and Tyrion were both slaves in the strictest sense. And in some ways, others are also, from certain points of view.
Interesting. There is much of the outside world that is left unknown. Thank you.
That's the least I can do. And thank you as well.
Yes. Enjoy the food. Enjoy.
I think I'm going to try a bit of that wine.
Dareth will probably mingle a little bit. If anyone wants to talk to him, they can, but otherwise he is actually going to take just one bottle of that wine and some of the fruits and ask Darren if they could just go to like a private corner to talk.
To talk, okay.
I'm fine either way. I see the one with Nathan happening at the party than the one with Mike's character afterwards.
Yeah. I'm going to say that Nathan is perusing, not a dessert table, but it certainly is a fruit table, which I think is what typically is used as dessert here. They probably, my thought is they have less in terms of baked goods. I think they do have baked goods, but it's mostly fruit that they use for dessert. And so, because the fruit is just so sweet here.
We do have sorbet.
They do have sorbet. Anyway, I think right now, like, Nathan is with his best manners as he can muster to eat the chocolate caramel-y fruit, but it's just so good. He just can't help but, like, voraciously, like, chow down on the fruit to the point that, there's clearly, like, an outline of, like, melted chocolatey-looking fruit around his mouth. Rousseau, have you tasted this yet? This is amazing.
By your expression, I'll take your word for it. Your face.
Oh, he pulls out a handkerchief and he starts to like wipe off his face. Thank you.
So, gotta be honest, this place is pretty different than I thought it'd be.
What did you expect this place to be?
I was kind of just expecting it to be abandoned.
Really? What gave you that idea?
I mean, every text script reference talked about the Scaled Ones being killed, genocided, or gone away by the elves like thousands of years ago.
That would make sense. Well, what's the problem then, now that you see that that's not true?
I feel pretty disgusted right now, and I don't know why.
You feel disgusted, but you don't know why you feel disgusted.
One thing I'll say, and anyone could have noticed this, is like the more looks Russo got from like all the other Scaled Ones, the more like irritable he's looked about it. They act like I belong here, yet I feel like I need to leave as fast as possible.
Oh, I see. This is all too overwhelming for you. You didn't realize you had some semblance of an extended family, and now you do find you've got an extended family, and I can understand that, I think. If my mother were here, I'd ask her a billion questions about why she did what she did, but I really can't change that. Just what he said with me in the room didn't sit right. I might have their blood, a few features, but I'm not a Scaled One, Nathan. So, what specifically did he say that really bothered you? I don't know, the "you're not alone" part. Like, ooh, thanks, you've been here the last 30 years. I've been doing my own thing. It's empty words to you, is what you're saying. Gotcha. I mean, Rousseau, if you all want to leave, we can leave. As he said, Leon has the ability to help us take down the Magister Siderial, so I would not judge you at all if you decided that we should just, bow out. I'm not that mad at it yet. The point I'm getting at is I don't want these people to see me as a messiah if I pass this test, because I don't feel connected to them. I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but prior to joining your group, I had a conversation with my father about the expectations of myself when I get older. Am I expected to be the next leader of Ferelden? I mean, I know that it's now technically a different system of democracy, but would I be expected to run for office, basically? I honestly don't have any interest in doing that or being the next king. So I can kind of understand what you mean by not wishing to be worshipped by these people. No, I think next time I talk to him, I'll just have to be a bit more firm in that I'm really just a half-breed that got told a lie. You told him that you were alone, or that you felt alone. Is there a reason then why you have zero interest in getting to know these people now that you're aware that they exist? I'm just putting up a thought that you have this opportunity, and are you attempting to... Is this loneliness a self-inflicting pattern, I suppose?
Let me put it to you this way, Nathan. When you put so much time into being comfortable with what you are, then you have to deal with everything else kind of falling apart and leaving. It really makes you not want to put the effort into doing it with something else.
Sort of if I woke up one morning and found out I was a mage and needed to be shipped off to the circle.
I suppose.
And yeah, I know how you feel.
Okay, I need to get some air before I blow up in front of all these people.
I don't know if I helped you at all, or if I made things worse, Rousseau, but I believe that no matter what you decide to do with this information, I know that you're going to do the right thing.
Appreciate it, Nathan. Sorry to bother you.
Not at all. If you need me for anything else, you know I'm here.
With that, Russo will kind of just take his plate and eat a bit more segregated from everyone else.
I sort of want to just talk about some Earthumial stuff and some flora and fauna things. Cool. He's gonna like take a big bite of scaled fruit and be like, "This stuff's great. How do you grow it?"
The island grows it mainly. The main source of nutrients it needs is chakra energy.
Really?
I would probably say that it's safe to say that it's so abundant here that there isn't a notion of farming it or like cultivating it. It's just
We go out and pick it and we're good.
you go out and pick it and you're good. So
Well, that's not very helpful. You'd think like your main sacred fruit, you'd want a nice cultivation period as well as how to, the harvesting cycle as well. He starts listing off just random.
If I may stop you, it grows year round and it constantly bears fruit, so I'm not sure what issue you're referring to.
Well, you would think that your main staple, you'd want to, ensure its prosperity, check it for bugs, check it for diseases, check it for, just in case anything happens. Is it like one of those plants that he just starts yammering off that requires a bunch of mana to grow, needs a mana-rich soil?
Mana?
Yeah, he does like a little, so a little light just appears.
Magics.
Oh, it disappears. What's with your aversion to magic?
Magic has not been practiced within our people since my mother perished.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So X-nay on the magic. If you wouldn't mind, do you mind telling me a little bit about Earthumia?
She was... Well, I believe she was very much sought as beautiful, but it was not an outer beauty. She, in fact, was quite horrendous looking in person, at least in my opinion. She was one of the first council and the master of the way of thought, and the island of Anhata. She took the teachings my father gave her and mastered that form of chakra with a style of fighting that honestly is actually one of my favorites.
And at that, he will actually flip open his war fan. As each aisle is practices a different form of martial arts. Her island being the style of, I'm going to butcher this name, Tessenjutsu. It's basically the Japanese war fan martial art.
I will also piggyback on what Mike said and say that Earthamiel, she always tried to see the beauty in everything. Like, you could say that she saw the world with rose-tinted glasses. And whether that was naive of her or not, that's up to you. And so, like he said, like, she just attempted to see the inner beauty in everyone, and that even included people that you would consider evil. She tried to see the beauty in them as well. And sometimes it didn't always work out. But she still tried, regardless.
She was very kind, and to be honest, I miss her dearly. She taught me the ways of the fan.
Sorry that you've lost a friend, but is there a way to protect us from the taint so that mistakes will not be repeated?
Not to my knowledge. Alas, there is much about the taint that I do not know of. I know how it started, but not much of the ins and outs of what it is.
That much magic over a long period of time is a big drain on the soul. I hate to be a little morbid, but do you think your mother is still alive?
No. She died that day. That day I lost both parents, and I was thrust into this position.
I'm sorry, it must have been difficult on you, especially as you are now the pillar of your people.
I won't deny that they look to me, but I have never claimed a title because I see myself as one with my people. I work the fields. I tend the animals. I am no greater than any of them.
Is there a way to learn more about the singing?
The singing? Do you mean, chi speak?
Yes. Our first introduction to it was the augur using it to sing and drive dragons mad.
There is a way to expand your knowledge, yes. In fact, I do have some books. Provided they do not leave these islands.
So Leon gets
notes of them.
Leon gets super excited at the mention of books, but the dampers at the. And I expect that you would want some guards while I'm visiting the library.
You will understand the apprehension.
Yes.
I expect.
And I do have to thank you for being accommodating, especially since, well, what you've been through.
Well, I won't lie. If you had not all possessed the chakras as you do, things would have progressed very differently.
I'm glad we did not go down that route. And what language are they written in? And do I know the language?
I do not know what languages you know, but assuming that you can read Common, you should not have much issue. We very rarely use the old text and speech anymore.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for being accommodating, and maybe I'll have to borrow some horticulture information from you on these excellent fruits.
Again, as long as you do not take anything sacred to us, then we shall talk. I am putting faith that you will not make the same mistakes of your parents.
Yeah, well, at least I'm still hoping to return here and learn more about Berthumio after our incidents are solved.
You plan to return?
If you'll have us, that is. I mean, it is your island, so you get to decide the imports and exports.
If you were to do so, it would have to be under the strictest of secrecy. There is a reason why we have been hidden for so long.
Very well. He hands over like a tracking rune. Use this and a carrier pigeon of some sort, and it should help home into my location for correspondence.
And how does this work?
As he turns the rune over in his hand.
Oh dear. Actually, can we communicate over longer distances?
We can communicate as far as we choose.
Oh, I guess you don't need that rune then.
You are all using the very base of this gift.
Do you have a teacher or a scholar we could improve our abilities with?
There are teachers, yes, but it would take time. Thus why I suggested taking notes from our books on the subject.
Sounds like I get to do some studying in the library then.
He'll turn to a guard and basically you'll be able to tell that something's passing between them, and you'll even feel like a slight haze, but you don't get what's being said. And then he'll turn back to you and say,
Raijin will escort you to the libraries whenever you choose to go.
Very well. Thank you very much. I plan to socialize a little more, and then I think I'm going to have some fun in the library.
Of course, there is no rush.
There's always a rush for knowledge.
But if one rushes the acquisition of knowledge, one may miss a crucial point.
Leon's been struggling with this very point. Well, thank you, and enjoy your night.
You as well, Leon.
And this is the first time he's called you not Faust.
Yes, success.
So Pasha, I will say that you probably are nearby the griffins, and they seem to very much like the dire nug, or whatever you want to call it, CR20 nug. Is so bad I can describe it. The CR20 nug right now, and they eat a lot, so they do seem to be chowing down on one. And I'm gonna say some of the other natives are sort of watching this in sort of not disgust, but more like, you want to save some for the rest of us kind of look to them. So I don't know how you handle that situation.
Pasha, as long as the native people aren't trying to take the roast snug from at which point she'll step in and be like, no, they bite, don't do that. Their beaks are sharp. Back off. Don't eat their food.
They probably will not speak directly to Pasha, but I'm going to say that several people will Karen their way to Dastrul.
I'm being out Karen'd. Hell no.
Yes.
We cannot have this.
Natural, you're going to get some complaints saying, these people, we feel that they're taking advantage and overstaying their visit. At least specifically the griffins, the lion bird things are.
As the perfect manager that he is, he tells them, don't worry, they're only here for a day or two. And he sends for more nugs to be brought. Roasted.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, go ahead, Pasha, whatever you were trying to do.
Pasha, I think very quickly she's been jotting down a letter to Master Ignacio. Is it Ignacio or Ignaldo?
Ignaldo.
Ignaldo.
Ignacio's the assassin dude.
Yeah, I get them mixed up in my brain. So Master Ignal, just outlining the idea of the Bachelorette Griffin edition. You know, I've got an amazing proposition for you. Like, you could sell tickets, merchandising.
That'd be amazing.
Like,
people can vote for their favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Like, she's noting all of this down as, you know, while it's fresh in her brain, everything she saw on the talking box in the wizarding world, just like, yeah. And then once she's done that and she has stored that safely somewhere, she's going to notice Karening, and you know, because that's Pasha's job. How dare anyone take that away from her? She's going to kind of approach Drasthul to see what the fuss is about with the griffins and all of these people complaining. How dare they? Drasthul, if I apologize if you find that too informal. I couldn't help noticing some people and their objections to the griffins. They eat a lot. They have to maintain their strength to fly. To complain about them is really in such poor taste, I feel.
And let me stop you there. You are a guest within my land. While I have not approached you about your beasts, they are eating more than their fair share. You should remember that you are a guest here, and you have no rights. Your beasts have no rights.
I see this is why my people fled from yours many, many hundreds of years ago.
Your people fled because they were kidnapped. If you speak of the Quinari, I suspect.
I do speak of the Kunari. I am Tamazran, if that word has any meaning to you.
Only in the basis of recollections. Your people were not running from us. Your people were taken from us. So before you start slinging about accusations, make sure you know the truth of what happened.
Why should I believe you?
Why should I believe anything you say?
You have no reason to.
And vice versa. Is there anything else I can help you with, or do you wish to just stand here and take my time complaining?
You seem perfectly acceptable of other people doing so. I see that your hospitality to guests
because
is not—
they are my people!
Just as angry as I thought. And she turns and leaves.
Go
She's
on,
walking away.
take off.